This is a podcast from the Business Times.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, August 19th, 2026. From the Business Times news desk, here are your headlines. What you need to know. U.S. President Donald Trump insists the Strait of Hormuz remains open, while Iran says the strategic waterway is still closed to shipping. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi will be visiting South Korea today and tomorrow, in his first official trip to the country in 5 years. And Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok will face tougher advertiser checks under new Singapore rules, which they must comply with by 31st of January next year. In world news, President Trump has denied that the United States is engaged in talks with Iran and said the Strait of Hormuz remains open, in contrast to Tehran's assertion that the strategic waterway is still closed to shipping. Iranian negotiator Mohammad Bakr Kalibaf said the strait would remain closed until Washington fulfills conditions under an interim agreement reached in June. These include lifting the blockade on Iranian ports and oil sanctions, unfreezing Iranian assets, and ending U.S. military operations and threats. Separately, Israel has carried out airstrikes on a Syrian military airbase, marking its first attack on Syrian government assets since March. Syrian state media said 8 strikes hit the runway and storage facilities at Abu al-Duhur Air Base, with no casualties reported. The attack has drawn condemnation from Turkey and criticism from a U.S. envoy, who called it an unnecessary escalation. In the region, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi will be visiting South Korea today and tomorrow, in his first official trip to the country in 5 years. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung will meet Wang at the Blue House tomorrow, where they are expected to discuss bilateral ties and regional issues. Lee will also pass on his greetings to Chinese President Xi Jinping. The U.S. and South Korea are considering scaling back their joint Ulchi Freedom Shield military exercise, with U.S. Forces Korea, or USFK Commander Xavier Brunson, visiting Seoul's Defense Ministry yesterday. The meeting came after President Trump ordered the Pentagon to substantially reduce the drills. North Korea has condemned the exercises, with state media KCNA calling Washington and Seoul warmongers, and saying Pyongyang would continue to defend itself against what it sees as military threats. And closer to home, Malaysia's Transport Minister Anthony Loke said the construction of all stations and rail infrastructure on the Malaysian side of the Johor Bahru-Singapore RTS link has been completed. The project is now in its final phase of integration testing with Singapore, ahead of the planned start of passenger services in 2027. Loke added that the fare and launch date would be announced jointly by the transport ministries of Malaysia and Singapore. In Singapore, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok will have to step up checks on advertisers under new rules announced by Singapore police yesterday. The platforms will be required to verify advertisers against government records and block ads from unlicensed financial services firms, including those not licensed by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, or MAS. They will have to comply with the new requirements by 31st of January next year. And the Land Transport Authority announced yesterday that 6 bus interchanges across Singapore will be upgraded from 2027 as part of efforts to make public transport more comfortable and inclusive. The works at Bishan, Bukit Batok, Bukit Merah, Eunos, Punggol, and Tampines will include better lighting, more seating, and wheelchair-accessible toilets. In companies and markets, oil prices ended at their highest level in more than 3 weeks, driven by Iran's decision to take a more offensive stance and keep the Strait of Hormuz closed. The move came as the U.S. ruled out extending a ceasefire, and the stocks we're watching include UMS Integration, Koch Brothers Eco Engineering, and UOB, after the bank said yesterday that it has priced $1.4 billion in floating rate covered bonds due February 2030. The bonds are expected to be issued on August 25th. For updates throughout your day, visit bt.sg. And don't forget to check in with our daily wrap podcast, Market Focus Daily, at 6 this evening.
This is a podcast by the Business Times. Find more BT podcasts at businesstimes.com.sg/podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.